This party's over.
Darkness rises and light to meet it.
Show me again the power of the darkness, and I will let nothing stand in our way. Show me, Grandfather, and I will finish what you started.
Welcome back to the Cave of Wonders, Dreamwalkers. I am your Sith Lord Callous, and this is the Rancor Report, where we bring you what's trending in pop culture, gaming and Star Wars news, reviews, theories, and clues. Now before I get started, I want to shout out John Matrix Talks Films and Rhodes Rants on Star Wars. If you haven't already, go check out their channels. Both of these guys keep me thinking about new and different theories. And in fact, it was during one of John Matrix's last live streams that the idea for this video came to mind. So if you're new here to this channel, please subscribe and turn on notifications. And then let's talk about Star Wars Episode 9.
It's time to let old things die. Snoke, Skywalker, the Sith, the Jedi, the Rebels, let it all die.
Let it all die is what he says, right? But what if Kylo has a change of heart? What if he realizes that if he's going to beat Rey and ultimately rule the galaxy, he needs to learn from the past, not destroy it? And what if this realization leads him to seek out a holocron constructed by a powerful Force user that walked both the light and dark side of the Force? A Force user that died, but was reborn. And there you have the title for Star Wars Episode 9, Reborn. You see, it works on different levels. For me, the first and probably the most important would be the continuity of the Star Wars universe. Die-hard Star Wars fans, those that have played KOTOR and those that still play SWOTOR, they know the Force user I'm talking about. Darth Revan. Kylo Ren seeking out his holocron lends credence to the story of Revan, and it brings it back into canon, which legitimizes Darth Bane and his creation of the Rule of Two, based on Revan's teachings. And secondly, it would symbolize the rebirth of the Sith. We know with the death of Vader and the Emperor in Return of the Jedi, the Sith have been extinct now for 30 years. Now I know that's not a millennium, right? But still, they've been gone for 30 years. And Kylo embracing the dark side wholly, finding Revan's holocron and declaring himself Dark Lord of the Sith, means the Sith are reborn. And lastly, having the title Star Wars Episode 9, Reborn, could be a way for Lucasfilm to sort of indicate to fans, old and new, lovers and haters of The Last Jedi, that this is the start of something new. So what does this episode look like? Well, let's lay out a few plot points. Now I know this is just me dreaming. This is just fan fiction, if you will. But we already know that the story is taking place 1 year after the events of The Last Jedi. So we'd have to begin this story, let's say planet side. Maybe it's Yavin, okay? With Kylo and the Knights of Ren fighting their way past a bunch of temple guards, all right? And they finally unearth, or Kylo rather, he finally unearths the holocron of Revan. And the holocron activates and speaks to Kylo, proclaiming him the chosen one. And through his darkness, he will bring balance to the Force. But first he must find an apprentice, as is customary with the Sith. You know, there's one to embody the power, and one to crave it. So Kylo turns to the Knights of Ren, and then the scene cuts to, let's say, Finn training with Rey. Maybe we see the Jedi books or text strewn about nearby, and through their interactions we get a sense that there's still an attraction between them. But maybe Rey has chosen to follow the code more strictly than Finn, kind of like we saw the interactions between Anakin and Padme in the Attack of the Clones, when they were in the bedroom and Padme was packing. So then let's say it cuts to Poe and more worldly activities. Maybe even Chewbacca is with him, and even Rose, and they're doing what they need to do. And so this fills in more parts of the movie. But then when we get back to Kylo and the Knights of Ren, he's masked up, right? And they're descending with the Knights of Ren. Kylo is descending upon whatever planet Rey and Finn are training on. Maybe it's a new planet, or maybe it's even Dagobah, right? Doesn't really matter. The point is just to emphasize that they're training away from the Resistance. We want to know that Rey and Finn are not actually with the Resistance at this point. Kind of like when Luke went away to train with Yoda away from the rebellion. So Kylo and the Knights of Ren, they descend upon Rey and Finn, and a small skirmish takes place. But Rey and Finn, they get their butts handed to them. And ultimately Kylo leaves with Finn, causing Rey to cut her training short and run back to the Resistance. Now during his capture, Kylo shows Finn a glimpse of the future. One where the galaxy is at peace, Rey is safe, and Finn stands by Kylo's side as his apprentice. Follow me. Seeing Rey happy and safe, and the possibility of galactic peace encourages Finn to join Kylo as his Sith apprentice. And since Finn is already a trained soldier, we don't have to necessarily spend too much time with his combat training, right? Maybe we go ahead 6 months just so that he's got some force training, because we know that he's been training with Rey for this past year, divulging in force techniques, and so now he's learning some dark side techniques. But we don't have a lot of time for Kylo to train him, so we're just gonna say it's 6 months, right? So General Hux locates the Resistance, and Kylo dispatches Finn and a couple of knights to speak with Rey and Leia, and to convince them that the galaxy is better off under the rule of the First Order. But Kylo instructs Finn to destroy anyone who challenges his proposal. So, to bring the tension in, let's say that Leia declines the offer, and then lightsabers are drawn. Both Finn, Rey, the Knights of Ren, and whoever the hell else is in the room, right? So lightsabers are drawn, and what ultimately ends up happening is that one of the knights is destroyed, and Finn strikes down Leia. And that causes Rey to turn on Finn, right? And so Finn, knowing the way that he feels about Rey, he and the other knight that is left, they haul ass out of there, right? So they run, not necessarily tails tucked, but the mission is failed. So they run back to Kylo to report that the mission was a failure. And Kylo officially declares war on the galaxy. Now we can fill in the blanks with some other space battles, and maybe Chewie, Lando, Poe, and Tico doing what they do. Maybe even some ground battles. But when Kylo and Finn actually catch back up with Rey in the third act, and the conclusion, we have to make this encounter epic. So why don't you guys let me know what that encounter looks like in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And check out my Lore and Legends series, where we dive into stories of the past. I do what I love, and I hope you love what I do. This has been the Rancor Report. Until next time.
This party's over.